with Treasury Cabinet Secretary Yatani. He joins us tonight as he's literally burning the midnight oil, preparing for tomorrow's budget. Cabinet Secretary, thanks so much for joining us. Good evening. Look, we keep saying it's Kenya's biggest budget in history. We keep saying that. What informed this latest decision, sir?
Thank you very much, Jeff. It's a privilege to join you, and it's also an opportunity for us at the eve of the budget day to highlight some of the key tenets that informs the budget process. Foremost, I think we really need to understand that budget is a critical, matter for any government, and the process of making the budget is a very elaborate, inclusive, where all stakeholders are brought on board, including the public, the various committees of the National Assembly, the government itself. And at the end of the day, the feedback we get from these people, mainly the public, and for this financial year, particularly this budget process, having engaged the public, we got very important feedback that the Kenyans were concerned about the cost of treating COVID-19, the need for urgency in stepping up the supply of vaccines, the challenge of unemployment, the income inequalities, and through that we had to base our budget preparation and laying of the budget based on this very important feedback.
Waziri, sorry to cut you out, but why such a huge budget? We're talking 3.6 trillion shillings. Why?
Of course, you understand that budget has been incremental. Kenya is not a static country. It's been growing, the economy is growing, and the demand for expenditure has also been increasing. But more importantly, we are faced with a situation where, because by constraining expenditure, therefore will not be stimulating growth. For us to continue supporting the economy, cushioning the economy, growing the economy, and supporting our people, we must continue expanding on expenditure so that now that investment will spark growth.
All right, was it financing the budget?
We had actually...
Sorry. Financing the budget will be a tall order. Financing the budget, sir, will be a tall order. How do you aim to achieve this?
Foremost, we have to strike balance between not spending and the consequence that's going to have on the economy. And we are going to finance, of course, through the ordinary revenue. We also have revenue in the course of service delivery, like the appropriation net from the ministries. Having based on all these, we look at the deficit, and on the deficit, then we go for domestic borrowing as well as foreign funding. And most of the foreign funding are project finances. We have had a number of infrastructure developments which are different stages of implementation. And the net effect of all these that as soon as they are completed, they are going to stimulate the economy because the ease of service delivery because it's going to really create jobs and opportunities for our people.
Waziri, the budget committee suggests...
This year we've been quite careful not to increase taxes. But for obvious reasons, because Kenyans at the moment they are quite in difficult situations. But what we've done, we've tightened enforcement measures, administrative measures, and tax collection. In this country, there have been a segment of population, mainly the private sector, who have not been paying taxes. And so what we are doing is that we make sure that everybody is brought into the tax bracket by expanding the tax base, collect more revenue, and ensure that the revenue are used prudently. That's what we are targeting to do.
Waziri, you heard in Faisal Ahmed's story right there before that the budget committee suggests that the debt ceiling needs to be pushed further up for the budget to be fully implemented. We're talking about maybe to about 9 trillion shillings. Do you agree with this suggestion?
Foremost, I want to assure you that our debt ceiling is within the ceiling that we set for ourselves. But we have the scope, the frame is narrowing, and at some stage in the course of this next financial year, we'll be going back to the National Assembly and Senate for an adjustment. And we do not shy about it because we had an option. If we do not spend, then there's going to be a problem in terms of the economy constraining. But we decided to borrow. We borrow sustainably. We borrow from the concessional window, the IMF and the World Bank, because we have to sustain the economy and continue supporting the liquidity of the economy to create jobs and opportunities for our people. Of course, now the remaining ceiling, the limit, we are quite close to the limit, but at the appropriate time, we are going back to the National Assembly to work with them along to work through the journey together.
Yeah,
we are quite clear because the unfortunate end of not borrowing is going to tax people, and we are not in the process taxing our people at this stage. Is not only going to affect businesses, but it's going to really seriously affect the common person,
okay,
the common one.
Which leads to my next question, Waziri. Yeah, which leads
so
to my...
based against all this, then we prefer to borrow for the time being, but deal with it at a later...
Okay, it leads to my next question. The common Mwananchi you just mentioned, who's been battered by a pandemic for the last 14 months or so in hard economic times. What relief are you going to provide for the common Mwananchi, Waziri?
This is going to be a recovery budget. We have set all our parameters. We are going to continue sustain expenditure by implementing the Agenda 4. We are going to enhance the economic stimulus package that we initiated in this financial year. And there are vast of them, including the Kazi Mtaani, by creating jobs and opportunities for people, by expanding jobs in the medical sector, by expanding jobs by having more teachers to stimulate consumption, like, the way we are dealing with now the issues of desk, support the furniture industry. We are supporting the tourism industry through employment of scouts, game scouts. And at the same time, we are also undertaking the economic recovery strategy with targeted interventions, particularly one of the sectors that has started doing very well, the ICT. With the onset of COVID, many people are working from home, and that's a sector that has expanded. So we want to continue investing more to enable our people realize the opportunities that are bound within the ICT sector. At the same time, we also realize the government cannot fund all the projects. We have entrenched the place of public-private partnership to provide alternative funding for government social projects, and it's coming up very well. And many private sectors have expressed interest in the matter, and we are going to implement a number of those projects through the PPP. Thirdly, we are not abandoning the Agenda 4. We are going to continue investing, going to continue implementing projects under the Big Four agenda. So through now those expansions of interventions at all those sectors, the common man will go to get jobs and opportunities, but we are also looking at areas of tax relief, not directly, but on products that are going to look at, that's going to really make the lives of the ordinary person better, mainly in the pharmaceutical industries, equipment, medical equipment, so that now our people can access cheaply and deal with the twin challenge of health problem, but at the same time also saving money.
All right, Waziri, we'll leave it at that as we leave you to crunch the numbers and burn that midnight oil. Wish you all the best tomorrow. Thanks so much for your time.